When I look at my life right now and I ask myself, which political party has made my life worse? It's not the Republican Party. Locally speaking, the Democrats have complete control and they have nearly destroyed my family's livelihood. Okay, we are living in trash and squalor everywhere.
When you look at election results, President-elect Trump appears more popular than ever in the state of California. And when you look at local victories, they suggest a growing discontent with progressive policies here in the Bay Area and beyond. For the first time since 2004, more than 40% of Californians voted for him. 10 counties in the state flipped from blue to red this election.
The sense of disorder rising, right? Not just crime, but homeless encampments, trash on the streets, people jumping turnstiles in subways, crazy people on the streets. You just talk to people and they're mad about it. They feel it's different than it used to be. I mean, in San Francisco, like the fury is overwhelming. And you see that it's not just the presidential level. London Breed, the SF mayor, just lost re-election.
Flashback.
Yes, I'm the mayor, but I'm a black woman first. I'm a black woman first.
Big changes coming to San Francisco City Hall. Tonight, incumbent mayor London Breed concedes to philanthropist Daniel Lurie following an expensive and closely watched campaign.
In Oakland, they recalled the mayor.
In Oakland, returns show voters have said yes to the recall of Mayor Shane Tao. 65.2% yes, 34.8% no.
Tao issued a statement late Friday saying she plans to support a smooth transition.
A bunch of the progressive DAs across the country were recalled or beaten in re-election campaigns.
The voters have spoken.
Alameda County's district attorney admitting defeat in her recall election.
I've fought to bring change and help to a broken criminal justice system.
The man who allowed crime to rage in Los Angeles County, he's out of a job. District Attorney George Gascón losing his re-election bid to former federal prosecutor who rejects public safety failures of Gascón's progressive policies.
Democrat stronghold LA County just kicked out their progressive DA for a Republican. I'm not making this up. This is DA George Gascón of LA County. Now, Gascón was the DA in San Francisco before he got the job in LA. Now, when the San Francisco Police Officers Association found out Gascón was running for LA County DA, it tried to warn the citizens of LA County, you're gonna have a problem.
The San Francisco Police Officers Association slammed his record, saying in part, "We are praying for the residents of Los Angeles, hoping that George Gascón does not do to their city what he did for San Francisco during his tenure," citing double-digit increases in crime.
Now, George Gascón is an extremely progressive prosecutor. Here are some of his policies that he implemented in LA County.
Hundreds being held in jail for misdemeanors because they couldn't post bail could be eligible to be released as early as tomorrow.
I recognize that these are big changes, but they are changes that will enable us to actually protect the truly vulnerable.
Here's a list of other changes. Number 4 is huge. Gascón no longer seeking enhancements to crimes like gang affiliation. That could take years off a person's sentence and will be applied retroactively. More than 20,000 past cases are now up for review.
The announcements that he made today are nothing short of historic. It's going to fundamentally transform the criminal justice system in Los Angeles and certainly across California.
Groups like Black Lives Matter, who often clashed with former DA Jackie Lacey, say this is a great start, applauding the fact Gascón will reopen use of force cases against police.
Now, even the liberals in LA County were a little concerned about some of these policies. Here's the former deputy LA district attorney.
My fear is that this is going way too extreme. We're going to let out a lot of people of the elimination of cash bail. So we're going to be letting a lot of people go under this pretense that we're going to give them assistance and aid, which sounds like a great plan, except I don't know if we have the infrastructure in place.
Now, these extreme light on crime policies were endorsed by groups like Black Lives Matter.
We founded Black Lives Matter to stop the violence inflicted on our communities by the people who are supposed to protect us. Jackie Lacey has been against every single reform that our movement has called for. That's because police unions have spent millions helping her get elected. And in exchange, Lacey shields bad cops from accountability. Jackie Lacey's on the wrong side of justice.
Now, the policies that Gascón put into place were pretty insane. Just listen to this and tell me if you don't think this is insane.
Well, Christine, it is a difficult and frustrating time for police officers. They're out there doing their jobs, arresting people who break the law. But in certain cases, that's where it ends because there won't be any prosecution.
Have you made a number of arrests for different types of crimes where the DA has now determined not to file?
I'm going to say close to maybe over 200.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Over 200 arrests and violations of the law.
At the Whittier City Council, Police Chief Aviv Bar talks about an issue affecting law enforcement throughout LA County. Officers are making arrests, but the LA County DA is refusing to prosecute. LA County Sheriff Alex Villanueva says from December 1st, 2020 to April 28th, 2021, the LA County DA has refused to file charges on a total of 7,949 cases. Pursuant to the new Gascón directives, prosecutors would not file charges on 2,590 cases. The crimes not being prosecuted range from prostitution, trespassing, drug possession, and
violation of restraining orders, the petty thefts, for example. These are some of the most common ones. Vandalisms, a lot of the ones that have to do with quality of life issues, disturbing the peace. And then he's also said he's not going to file for resisting arrest.
All right, before we get into more of the craziness, here's a quick word from our sponsor, Public Rec. Let's talk. You know me. I'm about keeping it real. And real talk, wearing uncomfortable pants is just the worst. Why should looking sharp mean feeling miserable? That's why I'm hyped to introduce you to Public Rec's Daymaker pants. These bad boys are a total game changer. They feel like your favorite sweatpants, but they look like you stepped out of GQ magazine. Yup, I'm rocking them right now. They're super stretchy with an elastic waistband that moves with you. Now, whether you're lounging at home, grabbing dinner, surviving awkward holiday parties, these pants do it all. And trust me, once you try them, you'll never go back to regular pants. Oh, and guess what? You don't have to settle for close enough fit. Daymaker pants comes in your exact size. No guessing between small, medium, and large. And you've got 10 awesome colors to choose from. Now, here's the deal. For a limited time, Public Rec is giving you 25% off their holiday sale. Just head to publicrec.com and use my promo code, Nate the Lawyer. All one word, Nate the Lawyer. Grab some of the best savings of the year. That's publicrec.com. And don't forget to tell them I sent you. Now listen, guys, stop suffering with regular pants. Upgrade your wardrobe and give yourself or someone you love the ultimate gift of comfort. Trust me, your legs will thank you. Don't forget, go to publicrec.com, use the promo code Nate the Lawyer, and get that 25% off. Now, to understand what happened, we have to look at how crime was before Gascón assumed office and then how it progressed over time. So here is a news report about how crime was in LA County before Gascón took the reins.
Homicides in Los Angeles are up 20% this year compared to the same time in 2019. 239 people were killed between January and September 2020, and that's according to the Crosstown report. With 40 in July, the most during 1 month in a decade. The report did find a 9.7% drop in overall crime.
So now you know how crime was before Gascón got in. And now you're going to add his policies on top of that crime. Now, what do you think crime's going to go, up or down? Well, here's the 2001 crime report.
Violent crime is way up and claiming victims here in Los Angeles at a rate we haven't seen in decades. Already this year, at least 143 people have been murdered. Hundreds more have been shot.
Dozens of shots fired by 3 gunmen during a drive-by shooting in South LA, recorded on security and front door cameras. Amazingly, none of the more than 70 bullets fired struck anyone. But bullets did hit their target Monday night. This was the scene on West 29th Street in the Jefferson Park neighborhood where 19-year-old Rayshawn Spite was murdered, one of the latest victims of the surge in killings and shootings that seems to have no end. This map shows the 143 murder scenes in LA since the first of the year. Homicides are up 22% compared with this time last year and 43% above this time 2 years ago, sadly consistent with the rise in other kinds of crime.
Okay, so I showed you the crime stats from 2020, then Gascón gets in office, and then I showed you how crime exploded after he put these policies in. Now, we're about to go into 2022. Do you think the crime stats are going to get worse or going to get better? Here's what happened.
crime is up in Los Angeles.
Yeah, and the increase in the murder rate is raising concerns right now. April, in fact, was the deadliest in 4 years.
Chief Michael Moore says last month was LA's deadliest April in at least 4 years, with 36 murders reported compared to 21 last year and 24 in 2020.
Los Angeles is dealing with a spike in brazen and sometimes deadly robberies. From high-end stores in Hollywood to mansions there, thieves have been stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of jewelry, electronics, and much more. LA police say robberies are up about 17% this year compared to the same time last year. Just yesterday, cops in LA released this surveillance video. 2 guys in masks robbing 2 men at gunpoint as they waited for the elevator there in downtown Los Angeles. They say the suspects stole jewelry, a phone, and the victim's car. Police later found that car with the phone inside, but they're still searching for the 2 suspects.
Now, as you can see, crime is starting to get even more crazy. Now, there were recall efforts in 2021 and 2022, but those recall efforts failed.
Less than 2 weeks after San Francisco voters ousted their progressive district attorney, a similar recall effort is gaining speed tonight in Los Angeles County. DA George Gascón defending himself from critics who say his criminal justice reform policies have contributed to rising crime.
Look, it's horrifying.
A troubling reality for Los Angeles District Attorney George Gascón.
Is Los Angeles County any less or more safe since you took office?
It's a complicated question, right? I'm not sure. We're safer than we were 20, 30 years ago. If you're looking at what has occurred maybe in the last 3 or 4 years, then it's a higher level of insecurity today.
With breaking news this afternoon, a second effort to force LA County District Attorney George Gascón into a recall election has failed.
According to the LA County Registrar's Office, the campaign did not collect enough valid signatures to force a recall race. The campaign needed just under 567,000 valid signatures, which is 10% of eligible voters when Gascón initially won office in November 2020. The campaign submitted roughly 715,000 signatures, but nearly 200,000 of those signatures were disqualified, meaning they were either signed by people who were not properly registered to vote in the county or did not match one on file with the county registrar.
Now, as you can imagine, the criminals of LA County love Gascón. Love him enough where they're even going to get tattoos of his name put on their body.
A prison phone call is used as an example of how some behind bars view Gascón. A convicted murderer in a robbery gone bad says he's so happy at his reduced charges, he's going to get the name Gascón tattooed on his forehead.
They're going to drop a gang of, like my gun enhancement, my gang enhancement. My gang enhancement's 10 years full for being a gang member. And then the gun and the commission of crime.
Enter Nathan Joseph Hochman, lifelong Republican turned independent, to run for the LA County DA's office, because it would be harder for people to pull that lever for a Republican than it would be for an independent. So he's going in on a tough on crime platform.
Enough is enough. Enough
is enough.
They're right. Enough is enough. I'm Nathan Hochman. It's time to join together and reject the extreme agenda and incompetence of George Gascón. As district attorney, I will restore independence and integrity, actually prosecute criminals, and provide care for the homeless. Together, we will restore our safety and security.
So the voters had a choice: a Republican in independent clothing who's talking tough on crime and I'm going to lock him up, or they could go with Gascón. So they decided to go with the independent Republican.
Los Angeles County, one of the most closely watched races for this election, the one for DA.
Yeah, former federal prosecutor Nathan Hochman has defeated incumbent George Gascón by a wide margin. KTLA's Annie Rose Ramos live in downtown LA with the latest on this race. Annie Rose, good morning.
Megan, Chris, good morning to you both. Well, the polls predicted it, and that's exactly what happened. Nathan Hochman unseating the incumbent George Gascón by a wide margin. As of this morning, Hochman taking that seat by well over 500,000 points. All right, we want to get straight to the numbers here because these are the latest numbers that we're seeing as of this morning. You can see right there just over 50% of that vote, but take a look, 59% of the ballots counted. Just how wide margin, Hochman won this election. George Gascón failing to win his re-election bid by hundreds of thousands of votes, and the AP calling this race for Nathan Hochman as the new District Attorney of Los Angeles.
I'm so looking forward to the opportunity to be your partner in going after criminals in the most fair, impartial, and consistent way we can possibly do it. We will go ahead and get back in the business of justice, making crimes illegal again.
You know, thank God that the people of LA County woke up and said, hey, these ridiculous progressive policies are destroying our city, right? They're not even prosecuting crimes. He's upfront about it. And that was a disaster. Now, this isn't just a trend for California. This is a trend that goes all across the country. The country as a whole is turning more red. And for instance, this is deep blue LA County that just essentially elected a Republican for DA. But the same thing is happening in New York, where the margins now are shifting toward the Republican. Look at these stats.
Now, Trump did gain ground all across the country, including in our area.
In New York, the former president trailed Vice President Harris by 900,000 votes. That's a smaller margin of victory than Biden had over Trump in 2020. According to the CBS News data team, Democrats have been losing ground in the Bronx, Brooklyn, Manhattan, and Queens since 2016. You can see the steady decline in the margin of victory in those four boroughs.
So what is behind this apparent city shift to the right?
While Harris may have beat Donald Trump in blue New York City, she did it with a 37-point margin of victory, compared to Biden's 53-point margin in 2020 and Hillary Clinton's 62-point margin in 2016.
Political strategists say, much like the trend nationally, many New York voters this year were driven by the economy and immigration, especially after Texas Governor Greg Abbott started busing migrants here 2 years ago.
If you have Democrats in charge of the state, Democrats in charge of the city, and Democrats in charge of the country, if you're not happy, you kind of go to the Republican candidate.
Election results in New Jersey also show a shift to the right. Kamala Harris won the state, 51% to Trump's 46%. That's a difference of only 5%.
So as the entire country from California to New York shifts a little bit to the right, I think this is an indictment of all those progressive policies. The let everyone into the country and we'll figure out how to pay for it. And now places like Chicago can't pay for it. And then you have things like crime, where the Democratic elites are saying there's no crime is not a problem. But the people who live in those places, crime is a problem. And then they pay and get these light on crime DAs in there who are not holding anyone accountable. So it's fascinating that it took this long for people to wake up to kind of see, like, hey, these things that they're proposing, like we're not going to prosecute anybody, that's pretty extreme, and there's going to be consequence to that. And now I think the people in California and the people in New York are recognizing those consequences. But if you haven't already, like, share, subscribe, do like great YouTube stuff. Now, full disclosure, crime did dip a little bit in 2023 in LA County. Here's the clip.
Now, in the last year, we have seen a 17% reduction in homicides, violent crimes down by 3.2%, a decrease in shootings in part due to the seizure of more than 8,000 firearms, many of these ghost guns. Property crime increased by 3.5%, specifically Kia and Hyundai vehicles, accounting for about 30% of vehicle thefts, and citywide thefts increased by 16%, including 137 flash robberies. To tackle some of these crimes, the LAPD has implemented the Organized Retail Theft Task Force back in August of last year, resulting in 33% reduction in flash robberies. The task force has conducted 109 search warrants, 128 arrests, and the recovery of 15 firearms and $150,000 in stolen property.
Now, after the drop of 2023, the numbers rebounded 2024.
Let's also talk about these new numbers that came out. The Board of Police Commissioners, you reported to them that violent crime is up almost 3% compared with last March. Robberies increased by 9.5%. Homicides up this year compared to the same.
So as always, tell me whatever in the comment section. Don't forget, like, subscribe, do like our YouTube stuff. I'm out. Peace.